Hi, welcome to the Bilingual Extension and greetings from Connecticut. I wanted to share a little bit about myself and the journey that we're going to be having together, but let's start with me. My name is Janet Rivellino. I am a bilingual speech pathologist. I currently live in Connecticut. I work at the University of Connecticut Health Center. I am a voice and swallowing specialist here, but I've had a good and long history working with bilinguals, mostly during the time that I spent in New York City. So my time as a bilingual speech pathologist started when I took my clinical fellow position at a hospital in New York City, and my boss needed a bilingual speech pathologist, and I had the Spanish, and I'd never previously been asked to use those skills before, and so I did a lot of learning on my own, and then I started treating aphasia patients, patients with speech disorders, patients with traumatic brain injury, and those were typically clients or patients with where English wasn't their primary language. After that position, I went over and worked at New York Eye and Ear Infirmary for about 15 years. In that position, we had a center where we catered to the Spanish-English bilingual population of Lower Manhattan and Brooklyn, and our center was called Centro Ola. We did that quite successfully, and out of that spawned the Association of Bilingual Clinicians, where we tried to get together with other speech pathologists in our community who were bilingual and trying to decide, what's the best way to look at a bilingual child? What's the best way to do the assessment? What tests can we learn? And we did a lot of preliminary learning in those early years. These were the years of the early 1990s through about the year 2000. A little more about me. I grew up in Puerto Rico for part of my childhood, and that's why I do speak Spanish. My first language is English, but at the age of 4, my mom put me in a bilingual preschool, and I was the only English speaker. So I was tested by immersion and really learned the Spanish language at that time. Then I continued to study Spanish in school as what's required, and eventually moved back to the United States. We didn't use Spanish in my home, but eventually I did get married. I married a man from Ecuador, and we tried to raise our children bilingually. I have 3 daughters, Gabriella, Olivia, and Daniela, and we have different levels of proficiency of bilingualism with each child. Some a little more successful and some not as successful. And we continue to share a lot of the Spanish culture with our extended family and various trips to South America. So thanks for being on board for the Bilingual Extension. I encourage you to keep the lines of communication open, and I look forward to meeting all of you real soon.